Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification, consider contributing to the channel. Now, Gervonta Davis has officially announced, which, unless you've been living underneath a rock, probably saw this happening, that he was leaving Mayweather Promotions. Seems like Gervonta Davis didn't buy into currency over legacy. Now, my thing is this. Gervonta Davis is out here being independent, kind of navigating his own ship, taking control of his career. You see Terrence Crawford doing it. But they're not the first to do it. And to be quite frank, Gervonta Davis learned from Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather can't be mad that Gervonta Davis did to Floyd what Floyd did to Bob Arum, what Miguel Cotto did to Bob Arum, what Pacquiao eventually did to Bob Arum, what De La Hoya did. That's where the money's at. Okay? The problem here, in my opinion, I think Floyd, according to Gervonta Davis, he tried to be pretty respectful when talking about Floyd. But I'm going to tell you my opinion. Davis says he doesn't have any hard feelings towards Floyd Mayweather. He says he appreciates everything that they've done for him. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I personally think, let me fix this real quick. Floyd is all about money over legacy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he didn't make Gervonta Davis feel important. Gervonta Davis has a voice. The one thing you learn when it comes to team building, right? If you're the guy who's managing a project or managing a team, and you have team members, key stakeholders in the process, they have a voice. And if they don't feel like their voice is being heard, if they don't feel like they're being appreciated, if they don't feel like they're being respected, then what's going to happen is there's going to be a huge breakdown in overall team performance and team dynamics. And that's what you're seeing here. Gervonta Davis obviously wanted some big fights, big names. He's not a child, but I'm 47, so I'm going to call him young, okay? He's young. And in this young generation, they live on this damn social media. I personally don't spend that much time on that crap. I make my videos and I'm busy with my 4 sons and out here doing project management stuff, okay? But Gervonta Davis, he lives on that. His life is out there in the public. And the fact that there are so many people saying that he's been fighting nobodies, he's ducking everyone, he's a cherry picking, he doesn't deserve the #1 spot at 135 pounds. Although a lot of us disagree with those statements. Gervonta Davis wants to fight the big names, the tough fights. As a result, we see him in here with, in my opinion, a very high-risk fight, Hector Garcia, before going into the big money, big name fight that he said he wanted, that Mayweather Promotions wasn't able to get him for the last couple of years. Ryan Garcia, he's going in here with a killer. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's just not a foregone conclusion that Gervonta Davis is going to win that fight. I think he will. But what I'm telling you is that fight is not going to be easy. In addition, there's no VADA testing. So what's wrong with Gervonta Davis, his team, Espinoza, whoever's over there involved with Gervonta Davis in making this fight, right? He's about to go into the biggest fight of his life right before the summer with Ryan Garcia. And he's going to take a fight with this guy who was a 40-1 underdog against Chris Colbert. and got stronger as each round went on and just totally obliterated Chris Colbert. Now, I'm not saying Chris Colbert is a killer, but Chris Colbert can fight. And I didn't see that coming. Early in the fight, I saw it. I said, oh shit, he picked the wrong opponent. But the guy just kept getting stronger and stronger. So now Gervonta Davis is out here about to fight a killer. So my thing is this. Gervonta Davis wants legacy. We all know Mayweather. He's all about currency. You've heard Leonard Ellerbe. Now, these are not my words. Leonard Ellerbe and Mayweather have gone on the record, and they've stated, when it comes to Gervonta Davis, he's young. He wants to get in there with these tough fights, these hard fights, when you can't feed your children belts, titles. You can't pay the bills with belts and titles. So their thing was to put him in matches that would generate the most money with the least amount of risk to Gervonta Davis, damage-wise, and also when it comes to jeopardizing his undefeated record. And I'm going to be quite frank with you. I agree with them. I think that Gervonta Davis should have ran that circuit all the way till he made $1 billion. Now, I know some of you out here saying, well, nah, that's bull crap. Best need to fight the best. I agree with that too. I do. But I'm 47 years old now. When I was, probably all the way up to about 28, 29, yeah, I would have probably been the same way. Like people saying I'm soft, fighting nobodies, my pride, my hubris, my last name means something to me. I'm not afraid of no one. I'm going to show them who Al Capone is. That was my mentality. You know what I'm saying? If you and I are walking towards each other and you don't get out the way, well, I'm going to step through your chest. You understand? And that was my mentality. And Gervonta Davis has that mentality. But now here as a 47-year-old male, and you're looking at Floyd Mayweather his age, Leonard Ellerbe his age, their experience, and Floyd Mayweather and what he's been through, they realize it. Look, if there's an easy way to get this money, then let's get the money. So I understand Gervonta wanting legacy as well as the money, because if you are out here beating all the top dogs, the money will come. But then there's a certain risk associated with that and certain amount of damage that could come with fighting elite fighters like yourself. So when you look at it, it's a good thing that he's on his own. He's happy. That's the most important thing. You know, you hear, who was it used to say it all the time? Angel Garcia. You know, a happy fighter is a good fighter. Something like that, he says. So Gervonta Davis was in there showing all 32 of those pearly whites with that little piece of gold on the side. Happy, happy, happy. But Leonard Ellerbe is not so happy. Now, in case y'all haven't heard, this is just a rumor. I can't confirm this. I'm not one to spew rumors. You know, I try to, stick to the facts. I'm an explicit guy. Word on the street that Leonard Ellerbe is on suicide watch. Also, Leonard Ellerbe, word on the street, is that goddamn Leonard Ellerbe was spotted out there in the UK trying to hunt down Eddie Hearn. See, Leonard Ellerbe, in case you guys didn't know, he got wind that Eddie Hearn, even though there was a cease and desist letter sent to him by Team Mayweather to stop poking at Tank Davis and trying to make a fight with him and bring him over to Matchroom. And old Lenny wanted to put those paws on Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn wasn't going for the bull crap. In case you guys didn't know, Eddie Hearn used to box. In case you guys didn't know, old Lenny used to box as well. And I'm not making this up. These are facts. And man, I would have loved to see the two of them get in the ring and fight. but it'll never happen. But old Lenny said he would knock Eddie Hearn out. But old Eddie Hearn said, you know, hey, let him try it. So, absolutely hilarious, the beef between those two guys. But not so funny when you think about Eddie Hearn and what he did with Conor Ben and trying to cover up the damn failed drug test. And then when you think about this Dr. Usman over there in the UK who's been working with Conor Ben and other athletes and Tyson Fury, and how this Dr. Usman is talking about you'd have to be an idiot to get caught using PEDs in the UK. It's so easy to circumvent the system and cheat and never get caught. Now, you got a guy like this working with Tyson Fury, Conor Ben. Eddie Hearn knows who he is. Then you got Eddie Hearn trying to cover up the crap with Conor Ben. Makes you lose some respect for him. I know I did. And I actually like Eddie Hearn. I think he's funny. I think he's a good promoter. But I think he played himself by trying to push the Conor Ben against Eubank Jr. fight, knowing that Eubank Jr. was coming in at an extremely low, dangerous weight, and to put him in there with somebody who had an unfair advantage and could have done some serious hurt to Eubank Jr. So since we're talking about that, I'm not trying to get sidetracked. What I'm doing is kind of leading you guys in to the next point here when it comes to Gervonta Davis and why Eddie Hearn is relevant in this discussion. Oh, Eddie Hearn, Fast and Furious Eddie, you know, he thinks he's smarter than everyone. He decides he's going to go ahead and send Gervonta Davis a message. I think it's through Instagram. Dear Gervonta, further to our messages confirming you are no longer under promotional contract, we would like to make you the following offer for your next fight. Versus Ryan Garcia in February, March 23 on the DAZN pay-per-view. Guaranteed purse, $10 million US. Pay-per-view bonus to be agreed. Looking forward to hearing from you. As I said, I'm in Cleveland this weekend and will be happy to fly you out to discuss face-to-face. Thanks, Eddie. Now, Fast Eddie Hearn really thinks that he can push money in people's faces and they're all going to just go crazy over it and he's going to be able to kind of finagle himself into a deal with these elite fighters who he hasn't really been able to secure since being given that $1 billion by DAZN. Now, if that number would have said $30 million, I'm sure Gervonta Davis would have had no problem overlooking all the corruption and crap that Eddie Hearn finds himself surrounded around and immersed in, because $20-30 million is a lot of money. $10 million plus pay-per-view, not really the sweet spot for Gervonta Davis, because he came and he actually replied and said, let me see if I can show you guys some of these comments. Even Espinoza got in on it, right? Gervonta Davis goes on to say that he makes more money than what Eddie Hearn was offering. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he said. So look, Espinoza laughs at the comments. There's other people out here saying they think it's a good offer. But the thing is, Gervonta Davis says he makes way more money than that. Way more money than that, and especially for these two fights that he has coming up. Now, I don't know if you guys realize this, but Gervonta Davis made like $15 million against Rolly. I saw somebody post that too. Now, that's not rumor. Those are facts. You get the inexperienced people out here saying Gervonta Davis is foolish for turning that money down. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Eddie Hearn, as far as here in the States, he's seen as a joke, man. And that's not just Bob Arum saying it. That's just not De La Hoya saying it. That's just not Mayweather Promotions, Al Heyman, Espinoza, Lou DiBella. Nobody really respects him, man. And the fact that he got caught up in all that crap with Conor Ben, that didn't do anything but hurt him even more. And it kind of underscored what a lot of people were saying about him, where maybe a few people felt that they were just a little bit of hating. But that being said, with Gervonta Davis, I personally think and I'm going to be honest with you. I personally think Gervonta Davis is going to do a lot better than, and what I mean by a lot better is how the boxing fans are going to receive him as far as leaving Mayweather Promotions and going out on his own. I think he's going to do much better because there were some people concerned than Terrence Crawford. Because I saw comments on Twitter and on a couple of different boxing channels where people were saying Gervonta Davis, he's going to fall on his face. He should have never left Mayweather Promotions. This is just like Terrence Crawford leaving, Bob Arum floating around, not being able to make the Errol Spence deal and ending up on BLK Prime. Well, first of all, in my opinion, Terrence Crawford had to get away from Bob Arum. I'm not saying Bob Arum was bad for him. I think the point they reached in their business relationship, it was just a lose-lose situation for Crawford and Arum. Look at what Crawford was trying to do and where he ended up. I don't think he ended up in a bad situation. I do think he may have missed an opportunity by walking away from the Spence fight, which was an undisputed distinction bout, and taking the money from BLK Prime. But I'm not saying he's wrong. I just think there may have been a missed opportunity because he's not fighting for that undisputed distinction. And he may not get that opportunity with so much going on with mandatories and purse bids and people figuring out ways to stop unified and undisputed clashes from happening. These are facts. This is the stuff that's going on. So when you look at Terrence Crawford's situation, he gained a lot of experience, so I say it was a plus for Terrence Crawford. And after this Evanesian fight, I think Terrence Crawford would have a lot more experience and firsthand knowledge on how the boxing business works than these other boxers, because he went out on his own, fell on his face, and then he picked himself up, and he seems to be doing pretty good now. Now, Gervonta Davis, you really can't say what he did by leaving Mayweather Promotions. It kind of put him in the same category as Terrence Crawford. First of all, Gervonta Davis is a damn pay-per-view star. Gervonta Davis is going anywhere from the East Coast to the West Coast, north to south, and selling out arenas. Okay? So these are facts. Terrence Crawford's not doing that. Of course, if he goes home, yeah, he's going to sell out Nebraska, and that's great. And I'm not saying this to tear Terrence Crawford down. What I'm saying is Gervonta Davis is the only one really doing this. Errol Spence is doing pretty good too. And then you got Canelo, and man, really, that's it. So with Gervonta Davis, he can leave. He can go out on his own. He's a brand. You know, he brings money. He brings A-listers out. You know, he's a pretty big damn deal. So him being on his own, it's not a matter of him trying to chase down money and for him to make deals. I mean, he's like a magnet, man. People are coming towards him. And there's going to be huge bidding wars to try to, if he's especially doing one-off deals with people, for people to want to host his fights because they know where Gervonta Davis goes, the money's there. Now, exactly what he's going to do, if he's going to do like Terrence Crawford and just look for one-off deals, maybe a two-off deal, I don't know. He didn't really say that. But what I gathered from the interviews he did yesterday at the press conference is that he's happy. And I'm happy for him. So we will see what happens going forward. But Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis and Leonard Ellerbe, I thought that was a good fit for Davis. Ellerbe being from the same area out there in D.C., boxed as a young man, had injuries, joined the Air Force, came out the Air Force, ended up in Vegas, being involved around the boxing circuit, somehow hooked up with Roger Mayweather, hooked up with Mayweather when Mayweather was young, became close to him, the family, and then, you know, fast forward to where we are today. Look at Mayweather and everything he did from the Olympics to a young man, young professional, absolute killer in the ring, to go on to be undefeated, make over $1 billion, has had, I mean, there's no accolade Floyd Mayweather hasn't accomplished as a professional boxer. So when you take the fact that you got Ellerbe from an area similar to the Gervonta Davis, upbringing similar to Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather fought professional and extreme talent like Gervonta Davis. that just seemed like a good fit. They understood him. They were doing things for him. Gervonta seemed to trust him. But where all of this went left is Mayweather he's like a seagull type leader or seagull type manager, what we used to call him. Kind of guy who flies in, drops shit off, and then flies out. And that's what Mayweather did here. And when he used to fly out, he used to go and take care of himself with all of his exhibitions and everything. And, you know, you got to have some kind of presence. That laissez-faire style type of leadership, that shit just doesn't work. Okay? A guy like Ellerbe, he's getting his money. You can tell he's not happy with it, but he just like, whatever, I'm getting paid. But Gervonta Davis is sitting back watching that, and he feels like, you know what? This man Mayweather has had these exhibitions planned on the same day that I'm fighting. He's not here for my press conferences. I'm just kind of out here hot winging it, and I don't like it. And I think it just finally built to a head, and we've had, in regards to their relationship, I think it had an explosion and implosion. And that's no bueno. So we'll see what happens with Gervonta Davis going forward. I think it's all up from here. I'm not saying he was in a bad situation, but man, you got to be happy. And he looks happy. So the one thing I will say, because I think Gervonta Davis is brilliant. I know for a fact he learned a lot over there with Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe. And even though he's not working with them anymore, I know he hears Floyd Mayweather and Ellerbe's voice in the back of his head about getting his money, taking little to no damage, and making it easy. And you can't feed your kids belts, can't feed them titles. And I agree with what they're saying. I just think Floyd was so caught up in him with all about his currency, exhibitions, making easy money, robbing the bank, that he forgot that what got Floyd to the position he's in is for him having a very solid legacy, beating everybody that wants to fight, not ducking and dodging no one, and really embarrassing people. One-sided beatdowns against, extreme talents. He just made it look easy. And Gervonta Davis, in order to get to the point where Floyd's at, he got to strengthen his legacy as well. And that's what he wants to do. And I think Floyd just didn't want that. But you can't fault Floyd. I don't fault him, because it's like me. With all the mistakes that I've made in life, and this is kind of how Floyd approached it, with all the mistakes he made in boxing, if I can show you how to get to the point I've reached in life, right, with all the success I've had, and Floyd's kind of looking at this with all the success he's had, this is how I look at my children. I think this is how I look at Davis. I'm going to sit there, man, and help navigate you so you can avoid those pitfalls, and you can get there maybe in less than half the time it took me to get there. Because that's what I do with my sons. And I think that's what Floyd was trying to do with Gervonta Davis and his professional boxing career. But at the end of the day, young people have to go out there. You can't teach experience. You can't teach respect. You have to get out there, get your bumps and bruises to get experience in life. And respect has to be earned. And I'm hoping everything works out for Gervonta Davis. But the real person to be concerned about here is Leonard Ellerbe. Because Leonard Ellerbe needs to get his ass back to the States if he's really over there in the UK trying to find Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn didn't cause Gervonta Davis to leave you, man. Gervonta Davis been looking to leave you guys for a while. So Leonard Hearn, don't misplace your self-government. Do something you may regret, because ain't nobody wearing the fancy suits in jail. Nobody wearing them $100,000 glasses in jail. You better be nice to Eddie Hearn. That being said, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.